You want to know what is so crazy? That maybe towards the end of the year, like maybe around like November, October, I have found an opportunity to return to Senegal to go to Kurdistan for a training program. And this program wasn't like the technique transmission that I had applied for right at the peak of the pandemic. This was like more so dedicated to like Black modern dance, codified techniques, that type of thing. And it was only 6 weeks compared to the 3 months of the transmission. So like I'm manic and I'm like, like this is the great opportunity for me. I would be more legitimate, like people would be more willing to work with me and hire me if I'd go to this program. On top of that, like since the first time I went to Kurdistan in 2019, I've always wanted to go back and train there and learn there and enroll in one of their programs. But due to the pandemic, moving, financial insecurity, going to grad school, and then playing in my face after I've written proposal after proposal after proposal for my research that would take place when I would go to a Kurdistan and getting shut down, or basically them playing in my face and act like they didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I got to a point where I was just like, I'm going to fund it myself. I'm going to save the money and I'm going to go myself. So I talked to my dad about it because he's the one who was like helping me with like the wire and transfer and stuff when I had applied to go in 2020. So I was like telling him, I was just like, like it's really not that much. And it really wasn't that much. I think the whole program was maybe like $2,600, something like that. And I was just like, no, like, if I start saving now, I could at least come up with half, or you could spot me on the other half. Because my dad has like given me like grants before, or like has given me large chunks of money to like invest in things that I was doing. The $300 that my dad gave me when I graduated was the money that I used to start my business, my jewelry business that I've had for about 5 years, 6 years now. So, me pitching this idea to him was, very lucrative. And he was just like, like when you get all the stuff together, when you sign up, this, that, and the third, let me know. And we can, I think it's a good idea. If you have a plan, go for it. But me being how I am, I was having second thoughts about all of this dance stuff. I was just like, I don't even know if I want to dance no more. I don't even know if I want to do modern and concert dance anymore. Like I was going through a really aggressive and intense purging, in my attempts to heal and recover from all of the trauma and all of the maltreatment that I experienced while I was in grad school. And I was just kind of like, what if, dancing, or what if stripping is a more lucrative path for me? What if this concert stuff is not really, that's not really what I want anymore? And I was like going like, I was like taking this to like the extremity. Like I was even gonna stop dancing like with the company that I'm dancing with now, because I was just so fed up with like just the inconsistencies and just not having enough. You get what I'm saying? People not doing enough, people not showing up, resources not being allocated correctly. Like just a lot of different things that were just like turning me off to the whole idea of even like pursuing that anymore. So fast forward, I fall in love with dance again, obviously. I have a string of performances. I get a teaching gig with the company that I'm with now, after being extremely upset that I wasn't selected the first time to teach when we had our first go of classes. Um, but time went on, things moved around, things shifted, and I asked, and they said, yeah. And I fell in love with dancing again. I fell in love with contemporary dance again. I fell in love with modern dance again. And here we are. But even in the falling in love again and like finding the meaning and the purpose and realizing like why I pursued the things that I pursued in my career anyway, especially when it comes to like going to school and like furthering my education, traveling, things like that, I was just like, I'm starting to find like my happy medium. So by that time, I had already decided that, I wasn't going to go back to Senegal, at least in June, because the time of the program was like right around the time we would start premiering and touring the new piece. And I was just like kind of trying to decide, like, did I want to do this piece or did I want to leave the country? And the way that spirit moves and the way you have it is that, like, I obviously ended up choosing the piece and got more enmeshed and more integrated into the piece, putting more of myself in it, putting more of my story, my perspective into it as I'm performing it. And it really healed me. It really comforted me. It really gave me what I was looking for. And I love when dance does the thing that it needs to do, which is to heal, which is to vitalize, which is to expand, which is to uplift, enlighten, the mood. So I say all that to say is that I follow the school Ecole de Sable on Instagram, and they just posted that the program that I was going to apply to and attend has been postponed. So it's not even about if I'm ready. I think that this is the universe and spirit like readjusting to me, being like, okay, if you're not ready, we'll push it back to a time when you are ready. And now that I've been making a lot more money and have been doing a lot better at like saving and like putting cash up and things like that, I will be able to pay for that trip 10 times over. However, in the meantime, another lucrative opportunity for like a week and a week long intensive for Urban Bush Women happening in New York recently came to my attention. And the last time I worked with Urban Bush Women was when I was 20 years old. I think I was 21. I think I was 21. I was either 20 or 21. I have a feeling that I was 21 when I went to Tempe, Arizona for their what was it called? It's a lot. Summer Leadership Institute. Yeah, that they did. And I met a lot of cool people. A lot of the things that I learned and that I took away from that experience, I still use in my practice today. I still follow a lot of the people that I've met from there. So the fact that one opportunity closed, like didn't necessarily close, but I just chose to go a different way. And it feels like that opportunity is like being put on hold for me. But it's also allowing me to like nurture my inner child and my inner teen, because when I first saw Urban Bush Women, I was in high school. And I was just like, that's the company I want to dance with. But as I got older and I learned more about the industry, I kind of realized that like dancing for like these big name companies, it's not really what I want to do. Not saying there's anything wrong with the material or like the way things are ran, but like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But just being able to like work with them in a creative and artistic development, intensive type space feels very aligned and sounds very fulfilling. I've been wanting to go to New York for a while because there's just like this big thing about like New York, New York, New York, especially in grad school, to the point where like it triggered me. I'm just like, okay, nobody takes me seriously because I haven't been to New York. I haven't danced in New York. I haven't trained in New York. And everybody on faculty has, you know? And they were pushing that and projecting that onto the students. So I felt like students didn't want to work with me because essentially I haven't done anything. And I was still like trying to find like my artistic and creative footing in this very experimental learning educational environment. And I just didn't feel like I was getting like the push or the encouragement to work with me because I was more unpredictable. I was very experimental and I just didn't have a clear read on me. You get what I'm saying? Which I can understand now. Back then, I was just like, what are you so afraid of? Da, 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 da. But now that I'm a little bit more mature and kind of have taken a step back and have been on the other side of things, I understand how not really knowing what to expect from somebody who you're hiring to do a job or that you're allocating to work with can be uneasy and unsettling. And I understand why people don't want to deal with that. Because sometimes I don't want to deal with that. Sometimes I don't like surprises, being like, I don't know what she gonna do. I don't know what she gonna say. But we just gonna hope for the best. Like, no, I can totally resonate with the surety and the clearance and the clarity and the confidence of like predictability, 100%. But I'm just really floored right now that doors have opened up and roads have opened up in this way, because I was like, in the perfect world, like I would love to go to Senegal for 6 weeks, but in retrospect, I just felt like I didn't want to go if I felt like I was the only reason that I was going, or one of the main reasons that I was going, was to prove that I was worthy of being chosen, and not for my own creative professional development. Now that I have the opportunity to teach class, I literally teach my first class tomorrow. Now that I'm teaching classes, I'm on the calendar for things. Things are moving. Things that have motion. I actually feel like I have a practice, and I have material that I can work on and develop and expand, that can grow people's confidence in working with me and collaborating with me on a higher level. And it's literally just like these small movements of silence, honestly. Not being so outwardly um announcing things, but just like once they're solidified, like letting people know, like, hey, I'm teaching, I'm dancing. I didn't even promote my last performance, just because like the anxiety of dealing with stalking and people like coming to my job and stuff, and like trying to like pull up on me and stuff. It's getting better. Like, somebody I follow literally popped up on my job on Friday and was just like, "Oh, I follow you," and was like showing me his phone that he followed me, and I'm just like, you want to buy a bottle? Like, that was just kind of my speed. But yeah, spirit is alive and well, and it's with us. And the crazy thing about praying for things and manifesting things, it's just like how it still feels like a surprise. It still feels like, oh, really? For me? Like, yes, for you. Like, who else? Like, that's what it feels like. And I feel like all of the work that I've been doing on a soul care level is actually, like, I dare to say, paying off, because I just remember this time last year, I was preparing to graduate, and I just did not have it. I was very numb. I spent a lot of time, around my friends. I spent a lot of time, pouring back into my love channels. I was dealing with a very tumultuous romantic situation at the time. And now, just like having more clarity, more confidence, more stability within myself just feels really good. But it's also interesting because, like, now I feel like, okay, I'm making all this money dancing, and now I'm getting these more professional opportunities, and the paychecks are not syncing up. And it's making me question how I invest my time moving forward, because even this week, I'm not even going to be able to go to the club that many days, because I have professional things going on. I have to teach tomorrow. I have to go pick up a check tomorrow. I have to something else I'm supposed to be doing. I have to work. I picked up an extra shift on Tuesday. I have things that I need to make, shipments I need to make, like all this stuff. And I'm just like, you know, having to think about how I position myself now, because the first daytime has been great. Working daytime at a strip club has been fabulous for me. I've been getting what I need. I've been getting just enough, and maybe a little bit more. But now I'm moving into it where it's like, okay, I'm building more confidence in my skills. I'm building more confidence in my game and the way that I work and the cadence in which I work. And starting to accept that, like, it might be more lucrative for you just to work at night. Get over the fear of like dealing with X, Y, and Z, and go in there and get your money and get out. Because I'm going to be honest with you, day shifts can be great, and day shifts have been really great for me at this new club. But I know that the night shifts go dumb in there. Not only do the night shift go dumb, the night shift goes dumb pretty much at any club in the area. And when I say about goes dumb, it's just like you're going to, like, making $100 a day as a goal is going to be, like, obsolete. Like, yeah, I can get by on it, and yeah, that's been working so far. But what I feel Spirit and Source telling me is just that, like, your life is not meant to just get just enough. It's just like, okay, I'm comfortable now, but like eventually I'm gonna want to move out of this apartment. Eventually I'm gonna want to like get my car clean and get a new car. Eventually I'm gonna want to travel and take trips, and I'm gonna want to buy new things. I'm gonna need to get my hair done again. I'm gonna need to get another facial. I need to get my nails done again. Like, those things add up, and they're a part of what makes my life the way it is now. And it's been so crazy because, getting my nails and getting my feet done was something that was like a new luxury to me, because I spent so much of my early 20s dancing and training that it felt, I don't know why I'm about to cry. It felt redundant to get my nails and my toes done and my hair done, because the way that I would work, it would just fall apart and nobody would see it. I didn't go out. I didn't, really have a social life. I didn't really enjoy life because I was so dead set and serious on, having a career as a dancer and as an artist, that I suffered a lot and I penny pinched, and I didn't really invest into myself. I invested into trainings, I invested in the program, I invested in the classes, but I didn't really like invest into myself up until like fairly recently. And I'm starting to see the benefit and the payoff and the reward for that. But it's such an intense attuning, knowing that you deserve the things that you want, and that you can maintain the things that you want and desire because you're deserving of them. And that spirit and source will provide you the things and the materials in order to do that. So like worrying about it, all those years I spent worrying about it and arguing with people, and dealing with people stealing from me, and not crediting me, and like counting me out, or like not supporting me. It feels like it's just finally like reaching a head where it's just like, okay, like those people don't matter. All the people that you were afraid were going to say something don't even know how to get in contact with you. So therefore they don't even fucking exist. And that there's literally, like, that's been a recurring theme I've been dealing with, that there's literally nothing that I can do to compromise the blessing and the anointing that has been called over my life. It's literally nothing I could do. I have seen a real time where I have purposely done something I wasn't supposed to do, purposely dealt with people I wasn't supposed to deal with, knowing that that's not what I wanted, knowing that I was counteracting and contradicting what I had been saying. And even to that extent, it was still pulled and stripped away from me. It was still worked out in a way that I was content with at the end of the day. People just being yanked out of my life with good reason, and me not even flinching at it. Like just allowing spirit to move and to work on me, and to be still enough for spirit to move and work on me has been such a thing to be grateful for, such a blessing, such a gift, such a privilege, if you will, to just finally be in the space to receive, after being in a space, in an environment where I felt deprived of so much, and nobody would tell me why I wasn't good enough, why I wasn't being chosen, why I wasn't being considered, why I was being, mistreated. Nobody could produce an answer, and that drove me crazy for the longest time. And even having to go in spaces with these same people who were there and present amongst my suffering is triggering, but it doesn't hold any power like it once did. So I'm just, on this Sunday afternoon, after I've like literally been chilling, I like finally just like got around to like moving my bed and like changing out my sheets and stuff. Yeah, I'm just so glad to really like just receive everything that I've been asking for, and just praying that, the talent that I know that I have, the gift that I know that I have, if God can just continue to use me to make things better for people coming behind me, to inspire people coming behind me, to create the things that people want but are too ashamed to say, to take up the space, to say the things, and to say my truth wholeheartedly, because I can't get those 3 years of my life back. I can't get a video of my thesis back. I can't, have, my classes be promoted like that, like, I can't get that. But what I can do, as I'm on this journey of, figuring out what justice for the situation looks like for me, I feel like I'm getting it. I'm going to go to New York and go to Dance with Urban Bushwomen. I'm going to go to Senegal eventually. I'm going to have packed out classes. I'm going to have beautiful photo shoots and beautiful video shoots. I'm literally about to start being a fucking model. And I'm just trusting that all of these things that I've been told about, what is possible, I can turn that on its head because I've always been the exception. And I feel like every time I try to create this narrative of being like, well, nobody's exempt, nobody's the exception, but I am, and I've always been. So it's like, how do I, come with all this inexperience, but still get lent to the program and still be one of the coldest to come out of the program? Like, I foresee a lot of apologies and a lot of, like, you get what I'm saying? Because, like, niggas know they was wrong. But I'm just like, the way that my heart posture has changed, seeing that it's been postponed just makes me feel like God is really looking out for me and is saving some things for me, and it's just waiting for me to be ready. And then I don't need to count myself out of things just because of what other people said or other people did, because those people literally do not fucking matter. They don't. They do not matter at all. They don't matter. They don't matter. They do not matter. They don't matter. Like, if I could count and name specifically all the people who I felt like were giving me a problem, and then go and analyze how many times I've had to, like, directly one-on-one have to hash it out with those people, that number is very low. Meaning that the power that I'm giving them is synthetic, it's artificial, it's not power or influence or impact that actually exists in accordance to me and my life and my success. This is one place, one set of people, one person. There's other stuff out there. And I've tasted different air. I've smelled different things. I've felt different things. I flew to a state in a city that I had never been before, and people showered me in dollars, never having seen me a day in their life. So I'm at the point where I can't keep acting like I'm not who I say I am. Because 9 times out of 10, it's just me talking myself out of it. I am more than capable of going to Dakota Sub. I am more than capable of going to New York. Because people think, like, oh, you go to New York, you got to be polished, put together. You got to be perfect. I ain't scared of New York. Matter of fact, going to New York would be my strong attempt to override the fear that I don't belong and that those spaces and those opportunities are intangible. They're very tangible, but they're not the only thing that I'm trying to reach for and grasp in this life. I love that I chose to start stripping. I love that my friend was able to get me a supplemental job that I only have to work twice a week. Last month, I was getting $600 for 4 days of work. I was getting $600 for going in 2 days a week. I get to pick and choose whenever I go to the club, and I can make upwards to $100 to $300 in one day. And if I stop being a pussy and start working at night, I could easily pull in $500 to a couple of $1,000 a night, and it's possible. But it's just like this fear of what people are gonna say, what people are gonna do, that haven't done anything. That's what we're letting go of. And I literally had a conversation with myself the other day where I was just like, this is no longer, like, what happened, who said what, who did what, no longer matters. Because at the end of the day, they have to live with the fact that they acted an ass. They have to live with the fact that they were just unrelentlessly cruel just because they could be. And they have to live with the fact that they don't actually create their own stuff. They just repackage and rebrand and redistribute somebody else's stuff because they're too lazy to actually create something themselves and carry it. Well, I don't want to be an ambassador. I've always been built and always had the posture that I'm going to have my own shit. I'm going to be doing my own shit. It's going to be different. It's going to be alternative. It's going to be mine, and you're going to know it when you see it. So all of these feelings of, like, not being accepted or not fitting in it's just folly that I don't bother myself with anymore. Because at the end of the day, I can honestly say this is probably the most happiest I've been since I was, like, living with my dad and, like, just graduated college and had all of this time in front of me. Like, I'm the most happy that I've been probably in the past, like, 4 years. have my own apartment. I'm single. I can do whatever I want to do. And I'm not gonna let the FOMO of being in a relationship, having kids, traveling, being part of this company, doing this showcase, doing that, stop me from being happy and being abundant. When I was first dancing, I was still booking gigs. When I was first dancing, like, my idea of like how much I was worth and what I could actually get was very low. But now that I, can do things like get my nails done, get my hair done, go get facials, things like that, when those things were frowned upon. Like, I always remember in college, like, Professor stayed hating on girls with super long braids, or stayed hating on girls with different color hair, or with piercings, or with nails. So I thought that beautification and that adornment was vanity, and that it was looked down upon. So I spent years of my life walking around looking like a fucking bum, and wondered why I was attracting bums, and wondering why I was getting in relationships and laying down with bums, and my life wasn't getting any better. Every time I walked away, every time I left a person, a space, a company, whatever, they have not only came back in the tone and apologized for me for acting an ass, but they still want me a part of their life, because I know how I turn people's lives up. I know the impact and the value of my presence and of my essence and of my energy. And I'm just thankful that God is just showing me, like, just to keep cultivating it, just to keep, like, don't get caught in hustle mode. Like, because honestly, this wouldn't be an issue. Like, me, like, stressing out about going to the club wouldn't be an issue if I would just get more comfortable working at night. Because I really need my days to do the work that I want to do. Like my jewelry, my podcast, rehearsals, things like that. And then I can just go to the club afterward. So I'm in this space where I'm really ready to make that change, that switch, that sacrifice, because my dreams are at stake. And they're like right there. They're literally right there. And it's so overwhelming. It's not a sadness. It's just like the overwhelming of joy, because it's literally like right there, things that I thought were so intangible and so like out of my reach, and that I was so undeserving of, are literally right there, waiting for me, put on pause, put on hold, waiting for me until I can receive it. And I just really appreciate that. I just really appreciate that. Like, I got new sheets for my bed. I'm about to get a new comforter. Like, I'm moving out of this like survival mode of like not having shit. And I feel like that's what makes me angry the most, is that like we train and we work so hard, and we're so hard on ourselves, and we do all this overthinking and all this worrying and all this anxiety and all this stressing, just to not even have what we need at the end of the day. That still have to work 2-3 jobs, to still have to hustle, to still have to get on the internet and do mutual aid and crowdfunding and GoFundMes and shit, and it's not fair. It's not fair and it's not right. When people are really hoarding massive amounts of wealth and just grooming and trafficking people because they can. And they're relying on people to stay silent and complacent and afraid of the consequences. And I'm not. I'm like, there's nothing that y'all can hold over my head that I'm afraid to lose at this point. And that is very joying, but it's also very terrifying, because it's just like, okay, everything that I've assigned value to no longer has value. And that level of disillusionment literally broke me, where I was like questioning everything. I was just like, bro, I'm finna stop dancing. I'm finna go do something else, but I know this seems really random, but I just had to share that. Baby girl, we'll be traveling very soon. I will catch you guys up on all of these different vlogs. It's been a process. It's been a process, but I am just like super excited for the way that I'm just constantly affirmed, that my prayers are being heard, that my petitions are being received, that my offerings are being received, that my requests are being granted. And just sitting in the energy of knowing that I deserve it, it's just really an atomic high level of love that truly heals all of the things. So I am gonna, salvage the rest of my afternoon and get myself together. I need to call my family and stuff. But I probably won't edit this. I'll probably just post it as this so I can at least post something. And literally, I'm wearing the shirt from the show that I did in New Orleans. Like, crazy. And I know I'm out here looking crazy. I don't got no earrings. I don't got no earrings. I don't got no makeup on. I don't got no lashes on. Up here looking crazy. It's not in and all, but it's okay. I'm literally like about to take a shower and like get my whole shit together. Like, for real. That's literally it. Keep praying, keep doing your work, keep lighting your candles, keep walking them hoes everywhere you go. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.